When I got the call from Karima's son confirming that she had passed away, there was dead silence. I was stunned. It felt surreal, even though she'd been ill, and we knew that the odds were against her. Once the news is official, it hits you like a ton of bricks. Loss is always painful. Even now, this is a moment of strength. But there have been emotional ups and downs throughout the day, and I've no doubt that will continue for all of us who loved her dearly and who were close to her in the days and weeks and months ahead.
How will you remember Karima? I know that you are planning a broader memorial in the coming weeks.
I will remember Karima in many ways. As a friend, Karima was loving. Karima and I gossiped a lot. It's an important part of our friendship. We loved food, loved going to restaurants. We loved talking about our families and the pressures that come with being a professional in a family background that is fundamentally working class, and perhaps you have survivor's guilt and you have to hold things together for your siblings and extended family members. So there's a lot socially and in identity terms that bonded us. She was a great friend, and those memories are very fond. We also used to fight a lot. We debated passionately. We tell each other when we disagree about each other's work. So that's how I'll remember from a friendship point of view. From the professional point of view, Karima taught me the importance of taking empiricism seriously in journalism. And what I mean by that is facts matter deeply, and it's not just good enough to have principled positions. You need to be informed by the social facts. And as someone who's got a socialism bent in her, unlike me who's a liberal, she really paid attention to social facts, to empirical detail, and I admired that in her journalism. I will also remember Karima professionally as someone who really underscored accountability. She thought it's critically important for all sources of power to be held accountable, civil society, business, and in politics. And funny enough, precisely the politicians that she knew better than many of us do, who are not as old as her, who don't have the same relationships, her proximity enabled her at the same time to also put them in their place more quickly than many of us can, because she understood the minutiae of the state, what made them tick. She knew their biographies intimately, and her journalism was enriched by the very aspects that sometimes people wanted to examine and cast doubt on. And then the last thing about Karima that I liked is the fact that she has a legacy as a woman leader in the industry. It's easy to be shouty, masculine Eusebius in the newsroom because I'm male, and the newsroom is as patriarchal as society. To be a fierce woman in South African journalism takes a lot. When you are violated online, you have rape threats, death threats. That's the kind of thing Karima had to experience. Naked racism. And in the face of all that, she kept her eye focused on wanting to be a journalist whose journalism tries to make a contribution to a just South Africa. And you can't fault her on principle. She was enormously principled, and whether you agree or not, she thought the idea of being permanently neutral is not acceptable when the stakes are so high. And when the stakes are high, she thinks it's particularly important for journalists to try and use journalism for a bigger purpose. And that was her mission.
I think my fondest memory, and as I said earlier, is that today I want to remember the type of friend that Karima was, and the friendship that we had, because not a lot of people knew that side of her, because she had a very close-knit group of friends, and she guarded that and she honored that. And the type of friend that Karima was is and the qualities that went with that is what I want to remember and honor about her today, because she was the type of friend who nothing is ever too much for her. No call is ever too late for her. We used to have like these early morning calls, late night calls, and she was always there. And I think that that is one of the things that is hitting me the hardest about this, the fact that the proximity to her is not there anymore. And you can't just pick up a phone and speak to her, And that is something that we've had to, when she was in ICU during this time, we've had to come to grips with that, all of us, the family and the friends, and it's been very, very difficult. But I think today I want to celebrate her life, celebrate the things that I remember about Karima and about our friendship, and the honesty about it, the realness about it, the fact that she was always there. Nothing was ever too big or too small for her in terms of her friendship and in terms of going the extra mile for you. Karima was really the type of friend that you could call in the middle of the night and she would do whatever it was that you needed done at that time. You know, and such friendships are rare. And I really cherish it, and I will remember it. And I celebrate it today because I think this fierce, bold, in-your-face person, this personality that Karima was, needs to be celebrated. Not everybody loved her, not everybody hated her. And people like calling her controversial. But to me, she was just my friend, above all. And that is what I want to hold dear to me, and that is what I want to celebrate and remember today.